Aw yeah, Rivers here with some cool tech, and today I want to show you the Cube U30GT2 tablet. This tablet has a 10.1-inch screen with a resolution of 1920 by 1200. It's got a Rockchip quad-core 3188 CPU, Mali 400 MP4 GPU, 2 gigs of DDR3 DRAM, 32 gigs of NAND flash storage, Bluetooth, HDMI output, gyro sensors, and Wi-Fi 802.11b GNN. Here's one more nice touch. It's got a free screen protector, so you just peel off the protective sheet of plastic and it's got a screen protector pre-installed below. Next, let's take a look at what comes in the box. So first off, we've got this 2 amp 9 volt power supply. It's got a round connector, which is what you find on most Chinese tablets these days. And here's your micro USB data cable, which doesn't charge it, but it's just used for updating it and transferring data to it. And finally, you've got your user manual and paperwork right here. Here you've got all the ports along the top of the tablet. You've got your power, micro USB, micro SD card slot, micro HDMI, headphone jack, volume up, volume down, and your screen on and off button. And on the opposite side, you've got your 2 speakers, which sound pretty good, but you need to make sure your hand doesn't cover them when you're holding the tablet in landscape mode. On the front of the tablet, you've got a 2 megapixel camera, and over on the back, we've got a 5 megapixel camera with a small LED flash. The flash is another bonus that a lot of Chinese tablets don't have. I would say the camera on here is still below average, even comparing it to smartphones like the Galaxy S2. The low light sensitivity is not very good. But if you compare it to other inexpensive tablets, this camera is better than most. Here's some shots to compare. Here's what you'll see when you start up the U30GT2. Now this originally came with Android 4.1.1 Jelly Bean. I went ahead and updated this to 4.2.2. There's a beta ROM available for it, and I'll put a link to it in the description down below. So quickly we'll take a look at the settings here. So Wi-Fi is working pretty well, Bluetooth works good. Here's a nice option that's available on 4.2.2. It's Wi-Fi display sharing. So this lets you share the screen of your tablet or phone to another device running Android. And you can see here, whatever you do, the other device does as well. My other Android device for this is the iMeto QX1, which works well for this, especially because it has a good external antenna with good signal strength. I've always thought the perfect use for Wi-Fi display or mirroring would be to do a photo slideshow for your family when they come in, so they can all sit around the big screen TV while you control it from your tablet. Okay, back in the settings here, you can see it's got a good solid 4 gigs for app storage, and a huge 26 gigs for storage of data. Next up, I wanted to run a few benchmarks on here, and it ran a little bit slower than it did with 4.1.1, but I think it's worth it for the improvements, added features, and stability fixes. So here's all your system information. We're using CPU-Z. It gives you clock speed, memory sizes, frequencies, your resolution right there. Here you can see your different gyros, how they're going in real time. Next up, I ran LinPack, and this just gives you a quick CPU benchmark. On 4.1.1 it was running about 125, 130. Now on 4.2.2 it's running about 100 to 105. Still, I think it is worth it for the upgrade to get the added features, and this still is beta software, so it could improve in the future. And finally, I ran Antutu, which is a total system benchmark. And then this is the brand new version of Antutu, and it seems to score a little bit higher than the old version. The old version came in about 15,700, so still pretty good numbers. Next up, it's time for some gaming on here, and this is probably what the U30GT2 is best at. The processor's nice and fast, so games load quickly. It's got lots of storage, so you can put lots of games on here without worrying about running out of space. And the screen is a nice HD 1920 by 1200 screen, so everything looks really good on here. This game right here is called Hyperwave, and I'll put a link to it in the description down below. Next up, I've got Real Racing 3 right here, and this game just has excellent graphics. It looks really real to me, just super realistic racing. It pushes the tablet to its max though, because it's pretty demanding on the graphics. And here's Shadowgun, one of my favorites. And actually, I like playing this a lot better on the tablet than I do with a joystick. Just for me, it's a lot easier to play this way. And also, the tablet's so big, when you're holding it about 1.5 feet from your face, it's like having a big screen TV. So I really think this is kind of the way to go for gaming, better than a phone any day. And here's a little something for the kids. It's called Beach Buggy Blitz, and it's got nice graphics, and it's pretty hard to crash your car too, so good game for the younger kids. And of course, those that know me know my review wouldn't be complete if I didn't hook this tablet up to a big screen TV and control it with an air mouse remote control. So you only need a couple inexpensive pieces of hardware to do this. You need an HDMI to HDMI mini adapter, you need a USB to micro USB adapter for the USB dongle, and you need an air mouse gyro remote control like this one. Android already has the mouse pointer built in, so all you have to do is plug in your remote or mouse and go. Now the U30GT2 has a really nice HDMI out. The quality is very good on here. I was impressed. I didn't find any artifacts or problems with the screen at all. It's outputting at a true 1080p too, and it looks great. And by the way, this remote I'm using is the Tronsmart TSM01. I made a video review of it earlier, and I'll put a link to that review in the description down below. It's just a basic air mouse remote control with a keyboard on the bottom that works pretty well, and it's a pretty good price too. Another thing that's nice about the U30GT2 is its screen is nice and bright. Here I'm outside on a very sunny day, I'm standing in the shade, and you know that it's hard to see even in the shade a lot of times a screen, but this one you can see very well, so it's actually pretty usable outdoors as well. Okay, I have to say I'm also a big fan of the U35GT2, which is a smaller brother to the U30GT2. It's really fast with the same quad-core 3188 CPU, but it's smaller, lighter, and less expensive. I'll try to do a review on it as well, but until I can, I'll put a link to it in the description so you can get the specs. Okay guys, I'll put a list of pros and cons for the U30GT2 in the video description down below. That way I can update it if I discover new things or if things get fixed with new software updates. And I'll put links to both tablets and all the hardware and software you saw in the video in the description down below as well. Don't forget, if you liked this video, hit the little like button down there. It will really help me out a lot. And be sure and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, aloha.